Christianity, a guide to the world's largest religion from Afghanistan to Zimbabwe. This is filled with information, incredible information. What led you to write this book? I mean, you've written other books that are much more dense, much more expensive, and much more big. This seems more of a guide to regular non-academics. Would that be the right term, or am I missing?
Absolutely. Yes, that is absolutely the audience for this book. And that was the motivation for this book, was to get high quality, researched, reliable information on Christianity around the world into the hands of normal people. Because normal people are not going to read my 1,000-page hardback encyclopedia of world Christianity. No one's going to read that. And that's totally fine. And I don't mind. So I created a baby version, a paperback, interesting maps, charts, graphs, and stuff written in a way that's meant to be accessible for regular people to say, hey, my church is doing a mission trip to Kenya. What is Kenya? What's going on in Kenya? You can open the book, go to Kenya, and you get a brief overview of, oh, here's the kinds of Christianity that are there. Here's a little bit of the history of Christianity in Kenya. Here are some of the things I should think about if I'm going to go to Kenya. It's made with that idea in mind.
Okay. And it's relatively, I mean, it's just came out. It's not been out that long.
That's right. And you can buy it on Amazon for only like $25. So the goal is to really get it into the hands of people who need good information. There's a lot of bad information on the internet. Like, you want to Google Christianity in Kenya, you're going to get all kinds of stuff, some of it good, some of it bad, and you might not know how to sift through what's right or wrong, or what's well researched, what's not. And so I've kind of collated all that for you and simmered it down to what I think are the most important things you should know about a place today.
So you're telling me that I can't believe everything that I read on the internet?
Please do not believe everything that you read on the internet, please.
I heard that quote too. I think Abraham Lincoln said that.
Yes.
I
read it on the internet.
I'm like, I remember seeing that. Don't believe everything you read on the internet, Abraham Lincoln. I'm like, that's so true, because it is right. There is so much bogus stuff out there today. I mean, the internet is a great blessing, but it's also, it's exhausting to have to sift through what's real and what's not. Yeah. And this is why I wanted to highlight your work, because I know the amount of research, the study, the immensity of scholarship, and how it's not just people armchair guessing. This is serious data that people out there can look at, and anybody can really get into. But let's start off. Let's break it down here. Let's start off with the categories of religion. This is the part, even in the beginning, you really lay out your terms, you give it an immersion into it. I don't even think people are often think about this, but you simplified it. So how many categories of religion are there?
So we track 18 categories of religion. So that's Christianity, Islam, Hinduism, Buddhism, so on and so forth. So we have 18 categories, including atheists and agnostics. There's just no good category to include them both, even though they're technically non-religion. So there's 18 categories of religion. That's the top level of our taxonomy, and then it goes down from there.
Okay, so we have the 18 categories of religion, and even that, I mean, you're talking about all these major world religions, and they're found all over the world, or just some of them are in different parts of the world. I mean, is that, how do you even quantify that? That's just crazy to me.
Yeah, so we have a massive data collection mechanism that we have a whole team of research assistants who are constantly scouring all the best information. So there's three major sources of quantitative data on religion. The first is government censuses. So people check a box on a census, whether you're Christian or Muslim or Hindu or Buddhist or whatever. And then there's social scientific surveys and polls, which are happening all over the place all the time, asking people what religion they are, how often they pray, how often they go to church, things like that. And then what we're doing is collecting data from religious communities themselves. So Christians who have membership roles, who give data to their denominational heads, things like that. And then we're taking all this information in and weighing how good or bad each of the sources are to come up with our own best estimates for the size of every religion in every country of the world.
So with this information that you have, who is using, I mean, give us some groups that are using your material. I mean, yes, we know denominations and things like that, but what about like news agencies? Are they tapping into what you're using too?
Yes, anytime anything religion related happens on the global scale, we're getting a call from the New York Times, from the BBC, from the Washington Post, from Christianity Today, from all different kinds of news outlets, both secular and religious, saying, hey, what's the context that this is happening in? So for example, when the Pope resigned, my phone was ringing off the hook when the Pope resigned, because everyone's like, what's going on in global Catholicism? And who do you think the next Pope is going to be? Where's he going to come from? So all these global events that religion is involved in some way, we're there to provide kind of that long-term analysis of, hey, here's how that religion has changed over time in that country, or here are the projections for what it might look like in the future.
So let me ask you this, because you've got your finger on the pulse of global Christianity, the thing that I really want to know about, yes, you have all these research assistants, but not everyone's writing in English. How many of these different, I mean, how do you find out what people are writing in different languages? I mean, just that is exhausting.
Yes.
So how do you do all that? How do you find out what they're publishing in their different languages?
Yeah, so we do research in other languages as much as we possibly can. So part of that is bringing on native speakers to our team who speak key languages like Spanish and Chinese and things like that. Also, frankly, the tools have gotten a lot more sophisticated. Google Translate is a lot better than it used to be, and you can translate pretty much every website into English. Google Lens, you can use your phone to put it up against different languages, and it'll instantly translate it for you. But also the thing that we do is we travel. And that's why I travel so much, is because you go to a place to find what those resources are that aren't available online or aren't available in the English speaking world. So travel is a huge part of what we do, not just because we love it and we love the culture and the food and all that, but it's critical to the method itself. I know what's happening in Mongolian Christianity because I've spent time with Mongolian Christians who have given me information that is not widespread outside of Mongolia.
What do you do with people that don't have a language that's written? I mean, it's orality based.
Yeah, we do our best to provide estimates for those kind of tough situations. And that's why working with missions and missionaries is really important too. Who are the Christians working among groups that are orality based? It's missionaries. And often missionaries, they know what's happening on the ground, often more than a government or a survey or a census could ever know what's happening on the ground. They have that nuanced perspective. So we get a lot of information from on the ground missionaries. And then we are always sure, especially with sensitive context data, to present it in a way that no one would ever be identified or put into danger in any way.